It appears that Russia has chosen to take the regrettable, unwarranted action to respond to our entirely justified action. Russia is further isolating itself following the brazen chemical attack. Russia should not be acting like a victim. The only victims in this situation are the two victims in the hospital in the UK right now.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov announced yesterday that Russia would expel 60 U.S. diplomats from Russia as retaliation for America's expulsion of Russian diplomats earlier this week. So does Russia's escalation mean that we are in a Cold War-like standoff with Vladimir Putin? For more, we turn to former Delta Force operator and retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Jim Reese. Colonel, thanks for joining us this morning. So this retaliation from Russia, what does it mean about the escalation of our confrontation with Russia?
Well, Pete, good morning. What this really means is we're starting to get in this tit-for-tat political arena that starts to happen when these issues go to bear. From the U.S. side, what I find very interesting, really in the last year with President Trump, all four elements of national power, the diplomatic, the informational, military, and economic wings of our national power, are all working together on this issue. It's really the first time all four elements are working together. But for me, at the end of the day, as this thing starts to move down the road, if we get more and more tension, I do believe that at the end of the day, the relationship between President Trump and President Putin will figure this thing out for both sides.
Okay, but the accusation of this president has been that he's been soft on Putin and soft on Russia, maybe even colluding with them. But what you're saying is the last year has seen a renewed focus on pushing back.
Yeah, it has. And I think what President Trump is looking at is just like all good commanders-in-chiefs do. They take input from their staffs. I mean, remember now, this is the State Department. It's Treasury. It's the military, DOD. It's the CIA. Everyone is coming to the president saying, here's what we need to do. And the president is being a good commander-in-chief and sitting back, agreeing, pushing those forces out, pushing those issues out, making, literally putting the pressure on Russia. So again, our government is really working all together for this Russian peace, and I think it's a good peace for us.
Sure, certainly indeed. You mentioned military as one of the lines of operation in this. In Syria, we have divergent interests than Vladimir Putin does. We've even had some incidents. Any concern that any of this eventually leads to an aspect of a shooting war, a shooting conflict?
Well, I think we also don't, yes, there's Syria, and I've been over there a few times, and, we've got folks over there working to try to put the Syrian people back in their cities. And so we see these issues, but we still have the Ukrainian issue where we have special forces and other type of advisors with the Ukrainians. And yes, I do believe Syria still becomes and still will continue to be this tinderbox that we have to watch.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the Russians and the U.S. and Syria are really the adults at the table that will make sure this thing continues to go down the road, that we don't have conflict. But it is tension. There is a lot of tension, and especially with the Turks up there, the Russians are ones that can keep things in check.
Well, it sounds like the real reset button was us taking a serious posture on Vladimir Putin. We're seeing some consequences of it now. Hopefully that stare down pays off in the end. Colonel, thank you very much. Jim Reese, appreciate your time.